Today, I bring you a tale that will make you stop in your tracks, rub your eyes, and wonder, did I truly hear that? Yes, you did. And what follows is as genuine as the pulse thrumming in your chest. Captain Ibrahim, the resolute and fearless leader of Burkina Faso, a man who has stared down the mightiest powers of neocolonialism and refused to yield, has just taken an action so outlandish, so unorthodox, that both his allies and opponents are left scrambling to comprehend it. He has set free 1 million rabbits into the desert. That is right, 1 million rabbits. And before you scoff, before you dismiss this as folly or nonsense, listen with care. If there is one thing you should know about the captain by now, it is that nothing he does is accidental. Every gesture is meticulously chosen. Each decision is a deliberate stroke in a vast mural, a mural of African sovereignty, resilience, and triumph. And, my brothers and sisters, this might be one of his most ingenious gambits so far. You see, the world is quick to ridicule African initiatives that do not align with the templates of Western development. They laughed when we dreamed of African satellites, when we engineered our own fighter planes, when we built our own cars. They jeered when we spoke of cutting the chains of the CFA franc. They called our uprisings fanciful until those dreams solidified into unbreakable realities. Now, they laugh at rabbits in the desert, unable to grasp the vision of a man who transforms what others deem trivial into a tool for economic and ecological renewal. So what is the blueprint? Why would a leader unleash such a staggering number of animals in one of the planet's harshest territories? Because he is not just thinking about rabbits. He is thinking about land, about sustenance, about water, about the livelihoods of rural families, and about turning Africa's so-called barren spaces into engines of abundance and prosperity. His mind is on the Sahel, that immense stretch of earth which has been steadily swallowed up by desertification for decades, and he dares to challenge it in a way no one anticipated. To those without vision, a desert is empty and lifeless, but to a true strategist, it is dormant earth, waiting for vitality to return. In his eyes, these 1 million rabbits are more than mere creatures. They are ecological warriors. They will roam, graze, enrich the soil, disperse seeds from drought-resistant plants secretly cultivated in government programs. They will spark a domino effect across the land, and as green returns, so too will the people. Farmlands will flourish where only sand once lay. Markets will thrive where once there was only dust. And in time, the very soil will become a wellspring of economic self-reliance. This, my friends, is precisely why the West fears him. For what he is doing is far more than a local ecological scheme. It is a bold statement defying the narrative that Africa is powerless against climate change, poverty, or without foreign assistance. By harnessing one of the Earth's most humble and overlooked creatures, he is proving that Africa does not have to wait for rescue. We can craft our own answers, and sometimes the most formidable solutions are those the world overlooks. Yet this move is layered with strategy beyond ecology. The rabbits themselves will fuel both food and industry. Their meat, rich in protein, will nourish communities. Their hides will supply local leather and textile markets. Their rapid reproduction, since rabbits multiply with astonishing speed, will guarantee sustainability. It is a dual economic and environmental offensive meant to endure for generations, not just the span of a single election. But here is what should make every African sit tall with pride. This is about more than Burkina Faso. Should this endeavor succeed, it can be replicated throughout the Sahel, across North Africa, even into the semi-arid lands of southern Africa. Picture vast expanses of terrain, once dismissed as barren wastelands, now revived through the determination of an African visionary. This idea, firmly rooted in African ownership and dedicated to African communities, stands as a testament to self-determination. Imagine the embarrassment faced by those who amassed fortunes exploiting our dependency, as they witness us nourishing ourselves with resources they once deemed unattainable. Therefore, I urge you, pay no heed to the ridicule found in foreign media headlines. Do not be deceived by the unassuming nature of the rabbit. Look deeper into the sophisticated vision at play. Time after time, Captain Ibrahim has proven that true freedom is won by those who dare to take risks where others hesitate. Now, the desert will challenge him, yet it will also witness the dawn of a new era in Africa's pursuit of independence. For should he prevail, these 1 million rabbits will not merely transform the land, they will reshape the destiny of generations to come. Welcome to Taco Africa 360, your destination for thoughtful journalism, in-depth analysis, and considered reflection. If informed viewpoints and evidence-based reporting matter to you, please like, subscribe, and activate notifications so you remain up to date. Please note, all content on this channel is drawn from trustworthy public records and reputable online resources, intended strictly for educational and analytical purposes. We neither support nor condone political violence, hate speech, or discrimination of any kind. Our mission is to enlighten, not to provoke. Thank you for joining us as we learn together. To the sons and daughters of Africa, and to all who listen throughout the vast African diaspora and beyond, I bring you a narrative so remarkable, so improbable, that upon first reading, I had to review it a second time, suspecting it was satire. Yet, the more I investigated, the more I listened to voices from within Burkina Faso, the clearer it became, this is no joke. This is not a publicity scheme. It is not the sort of odd story the world briefly derides and then swiftly forgets. Instead, it is a move of extraordinary calculation, strategy, and significance, one that only those closest to Captain Ibrahim Traoré could have anticipated. Here is the story. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the revolutionary who has unsettled the foundations of neo-colonial influence in Western Africa, has just authorized the release of 1 million rabbits into the desert. Yes, you heard correctly, 1 million rabbits set loose upon the sands. And now, from Paris to Beijing, Washington to Johannesburg, experts are all pondering the same question. Why? By now, we understand that with Captain Ibrahim Traoré, nothing happens by chance. This is the man who resisted ecoist threats without flinching, who annulled unfair mining agreements forged under colonial coercion, and who forged alliances with fellow champions of anti-imperialism, even as Western outlets branded him a reckless populist. He is the leader who has repeatedly turned Africa's supposed weaknesses into sources of power. Therefore, when such a man introduces 1 million rabbits into one of the world's most unforgiving landscapes, it is no mere experiment with nature. He is, in truth, reimagining the entire game board of Africa's survival and sovereignty. To grasp the magnitude of this initiative, we must first reflect on the geography of Burkina Faso, a country straddling the Sahel, where arid desert meets delicate savanna in a tense equilibrium. For generations, the relentless spread of the desert, a phenomenon called desertification, has consumed farmlands, drained water reserves, and forced communities from their homes. This is not solely a challenge for Burkina Faso, but also for nations such as Mali, Niger, Chad, Sudan, and many others along the Sahel corridor. Foreign benefactors have delivered countless speeches, aid organizations have outlined numerous plans, and billions have been promised. Still, the desert's slow and unforgiving expansion persists. But consider this. What if, instead of waiting endlessly for outside interventions that never materialize, an African nation could reclaim its destiny and fight back on its own terms? What if we could transform the desert itself from a symbol of ruin to a cradle of renewal and abundance? This, dear friends, is where the rabbits enter the story. The concept began, so the tale goes, when a team of agricultural experts and ecologists from Burkina Faso observed the process of restoring ecosystems in parched landscapes. They discovered that, in certain regions around the globe, the carefully managed introduction of small, prolific herbivores did not devastate vegetation as some would expect. Instead, these creatures spurred plant revival by distributing seeds in their droppings, enriching the earth, and drawing predators whose presence brought further ecological balance. However, each experiment was conducted on a modest scale, just a few hundred animals here, a few thousand there. Captain Troy examined these findings and posed the question that no one else dared to speak aloud. What if this effort unfolded on such a grand scale that it could transform the desert itself? What if, instead of releasing a few thousand rabbits, they set free 1 million? And what if this was merely the first step? His counselors were taken aback. Some cautioned against such risk. Rabbits multiply swiftly. Without oversight, they might flood delicate regions. Others fretted about the immense challenge. How would they breed, transport, and track so many rabbits? Yet Troy's vision soared above the doubts. He recognized not just an ecological experiment, but the seeds of an economic revolution. For the rabbits were not meant solely for the soil, but for the people themselves. This is the essence of the plan. Rabbits are being released into precisely mapped sections of semi-arid wilderness, where the government has already established drought-tolerant shrubs and grasses. Many of these plants, native to the Sahel, struggle to propagate alone in worn-out earth. But with rabbits constantly grazing, fertilizing, and roaming, their seeds are scattered far and wide. In as little as 2 or 3 growing cycles, greenery can reappear in places long abandoned as lifeless. This renewed vegetation in turn supports a variety of other animals, goats, antelopes, birds, rebuilding the web of life. Simultaneously, local communities near these areas receive permission to harvest a limited number of rabbits for meat and pelts, creating a budding local market. The meat offers high protein, healthier than much of the meat produced by industry, while the fur can be fashioned into garments or exported for extra earnings. In short, the desert is reborn as farmland. The farmland becomes a market, and the market lays the groundwork for independence. Here is where the brilliance of the plan becomes clear. Much of the desert in Burkina Faso and neighboring countries has been disregarded as worthless by foreign investors. They see no fortune in endless sand and unrelenting wind. But should the landscape turn green again, supporting herds and crops, its value will soar, this time under African stewardship, without foreign interests pulling the strings. Traoré understands this change will nicht come in an instant. He knows it will demand years of effort, years of learning and adjusting. But he also believes that true freedom is nicht gemessen in monats. It is counted in generationen. Already, voices in the Western press are twisting the narrative. They call it strange, unorthodox, even ein spectacle. Their aim is zu Mockery, because mockery ist ein Wappen. If they succeed in sowing doubt among Africans, in making us ashamed of bold new ideas, their revolution may wither before it can blossom. But I say this, when they laugh, it means we have struck upon something they never anticipated. And if they could not foresee it, they cannot command it. Some have questioned, why 1 million? Why not 10,000? Why not 50,000? The explanation is all in the magnitude. Desertification is no minor threat. It spans millions of square kilometers. Mere symbolic acts will never turn the tide. Traoré's belief is that to conquer a challenge, you must confront it with such magnitude, such intensity, that it is startled into retreat. 1 million rabbits means swift results. It means changes that can be seen within a handful of years, not across distant decades. By the time foreign observers recognize its effectiveness, Africa will already have mastered both the technique and its benefits. Yet, there is a deeper dimension to this approach that has Western policy experts quietly exchanging concerns. The rabbit is more than just an ecological instrument. It stands as an emblem of swift expansion. Traoré now weaves the rabbit into his addresses to young people in rural communities, encouraging them to see themselves through this lens. Just as rabbits multiply rapidly, so too can their ideas, their ventures, and their collective strength. He is nurturing a belief that from the most modest origins, persistent effort can lead to remarkable growth, resilience, and opportunity. Consider how a single pair of rabbits can give rise to several hundred offspring within a single year. In the same way, one powerful idea, if spread and imitated, can spark hundreds of new businesses, foster countless innovative solutions, and inspire a generation of leaders. The Ministry of Agriculture has noted that farmers in the initial release areas are coming together to form cooperatives for processing rabbit meat, supplying local markets. Artisans skilled in leatherwork are trialing products made from rabbit fur to sell in Ouagadougou and other regions. A new class of veterinary professionals is emerging, trained in large-scale breeding methods and enriching the field of animal husbandry. Rabbits, requiring much less water than cattle, thrive in arid landscapes where other livestock cannot survive. Nonetheless, obstacles persist. Natural predators must either be restored or shielded to balance rabbit populations, and land must be managed thoughtfully to prevent overgrazing. However, in contrast to external fixes reliant on costly machinery or imported chemicals, this solution is organic, flexible, and rooted in the land's own resources. Its conception is African, its implementation is African, and its rewards belong to Africa. Brothers and sisters, hear this. The world will not grasp this vision until it is far too late to halt its progress. They will remain blind to the Sahel's transformation until satellite photographs compel belief. They will miss the wave of economic self-sufficiency until Burkina Faso begins shipping produce grown in the desert and goods processed locally to markets across the continent. And when the world finally acknowledges the truth, many will insist they foresaw it all along. Yet we shall remember who truly began it, a leader who saw potential where others saw only emptiness, and who would not allow the mockery of his critics to determine his people's fate. Let us hold this lesson close. Whether your community's livelihood depends on cocoa, coffee, petroleum, or commerce, never forget that true freedom may emerge from the least expected places. For Burkina Faso, it is 1 million rabbits thriving in the desert. For you, it may take another form entirely. The real test is whether you will dare to pursue it when others call you mad. So I close with this thought. The desert is not lifeless, it simply slumbers. Captain Ibrahim Traoré has dispatched 1 million agents of change to stir it awake. Their scent will travel on the wind, their presence will touch the soil, and the people will witness the return of greenery. This is not folly, it is foresight. And when vision is coupled with bravery, nothing can stand in its way. As responses pour in from all corners of the continent, one fact stands out. Africa is demanding dignity, self-rule, and responsibility. Is this merely a diplomatic error, or does it mark the dawn of profound global realignment? We will keep a vigilant watch. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more honest, unfiltered African reporting. This is Talk of Africa 360, bringing you the voices that matter.